What inspired you to make a graphic novel of When the Sky Falls?
Oh, it was the fact that I would have really struggled to read it. The novel I would have struggled to read when I was your age. I loved people telling me stories. I loved listening to stories, but I really struggled with words on the page. Too many words, and it just didn't make sense to me. So the graphic novel, if I'd have had that when I was your age, it would have meant I didn't feel excluded. I would have still felt like I could get through that story from start to finish.
Was Mrs. F from that book inspired by a real person?
Yes, her name is. Her name's inspired by one of my favourite writers, who's called Maggie O'Farrell. And the character, she's quite grumpy, and she's quite larger than life. And she's based on a lot of my relatives, more my aunties that used to look after me when I was younger.
Yeah.
They could be quite gruff like her.
Yeah. How do you go about writing a new novel?
That's a great question. Every writer does it differently. Do you know what I mean? There's no set way you have to do it. One of the nice things about writing is that there's just no rules. You know, you apply your own rules. So I sit down with a basic idea and I see where it goes. I just sit at my desk, laptop open, and I just let my imagination go for a wander.
Are you writing a new book right now?
I am, yeah. I'm writing a World War One book about circuses and elephants and the life in the trenches. But I'm also writing some comic strips as well. I'm writing some football comic strips, which I am loving doing. It's really good fun.
What was your favourite childhood book and why?
I used to read Roy the Rover's comic every week. One of the only novels I can remember reading when I was younger than you was a book called Flat Stanley by Jeff Brown, which is about a kid who gets squashed flat by his brother's notice board and he ends up going on all these mad adventures.
What inspired you to become an author?
Well, that's a good question. I never wanted to be one. I wanted to play football, but that was rubbish. So I ended up working in a bookshop when I was in my mid-20s, and I was given a book called Holes by Lewis Sacca, which you might read in like year 6 or something like that. And that book like lit the fire. It was like, as soon as I read that book, I was like, I'm gonna see if I can do this. So yeah, it was that book.
How many books have you written?
The number of books out, I think, is 28. And then next year there's 2 more, so that'll take me to 30. And then the year after that there's 2 more, which will take me to 32. So yeah, be 32 by the end of year after next.
After you left the library, did you start writing like straight away or not?
Yeah, I used to write in my lunch hour. So I had a really old laptop, which barely worked. The battery lasted about 2 minutes, so I had to have it plugged into the wall all the time. But I'd go into the basement and I'd write every lunch hour. So then when I left the bookshop and I started working in the centre of London, I used to get the bus every day to work, and that's when I used to write. I used to write for an hour on the bus into work and an hour on the way home. Because I had young kids, so by the time I got home, they needed putting to bed, so...
Had any of those stories that you had written on the bus, are they any of your stories now?
Yeah, some of them have been. The first 4 books I got published, pretty much every word of those was written on the X68 bus. I'd get about 1,000 words done a day. So it meant about 60 journeys. If I did that 60 times, I would have the first draft of a novel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a great question.